here with Harry Lancaster, an Air Force veteran who served during the Korean War. Now, I need you to tell me a little about yourself. So, where and when were you born?
I was born in Pawtucket in 1932.
What did your parents do for a living?
My father was a roofer. My mother stayed at home.
How many siblings did you have?
4.
Did any of them serve in the military?
2 brothers served in the military in the Second World War.
What were you doing before you entered the service?
I was in college.
In college? Where'd you go to college?
Bryant.
Right. And what branch did you serve?
I served in the Air Force.
How old were you when you enlisted?
19.
19. Why did you choose the Air Force?
I don't really remember, to tell you the truth.
Okay. Do you recall your first days in the service? And what were they like, if you do?
Pretty miserable. We were sleeping on cots in tents with 7 blankets. And it was so cold in the morning, there was icicles on the building, and 90 degrees in the afternoon.
Do you remember what happened when you departed for training camp and during your early days of training?
Well, that, what I just mentioned is part of it. Other than that, it was technical school, radar schools I went to. Went 6 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Do you remember what your instructors were like?
No, not a thing.
Did you receive any specialized training?
In radar maintenance.
Yeah, okay. How did you adapt to physical life, like the physical regimen, the barracks, and the food?
It didn't bother me that much. It was all right.
Did you have enough supplies?
Excuse me?
Did you have enough supplies?
No, the first month we didn't even have uniforms.
Oh. Was there something special you did for good luck?
Not really.
Where was your first assignment?
Korea.
In Korea. Do you remember arriving and what it was like there?
I don't remember arriving there so much. Got off the ship and again we were housed in tents.
What was your most memorable experience there?
Living in tents, on the ground, flat, and being bombed.
Did you suffer any injuries in combat?
No.
Do you remember what it was like to see in combat when you were there?
It wasn't very pleasant, but I wasn't in actual hand-to-hand combat. I was just under fire and being bombed.
Were you ever a prisoner of war?
No.
No. All right. Did you receive any medals or citations?
No.
What kind of friendships did you make while you were serving?
We made some very good friends. Unfortunately, we didn't stick together after we got discharged.
How did you stay in touch with your family while you were there?
Just letters, that's all. Yeah, letters, back and forth.
Remember what you did for recreation?
There was none.
There was none? Where were you when the war ended?
I was back in the States. Actually, I don't really remember exactly.
How did you return home?
By ship.
By ship?
We had two Easter Sundays. It was the dayline.
How were you received by your family and community when you returned?
Oh, they were glad to see me. It wasn't like it is today, and what they have in Iran and Iraq. People appreciated the veterans back in those years.
How did you readjust to civilian life?
Just thought it was, just did it. There was no question.
Did you go back to work or school immediately?
Yes, I went back to college.
Was
Go ahead.
Oh, you.
No, go ahead.
Oh, was your education supported by the GI Bill?
Yes, it was. They gave me a great big $138 a month.
Have you ever been?
And that's because I was married. I wouldn't have got that much if I wasn't married.
Did you stay in contact with any of your fellow veterans?
No, only for a year or two. That's all.
Are you a member of any veterans organizations?
Presently, no.
Were you ever?
Yes.
Which one?
What do you call the American Legion.
What have you done since separating from the military?
I finished college, went to work.
Okay. How did your wartime experiences affect your life?
Did not.
What are some life lessons you learned from military service?
Stuck my head in I don't know. Maybe the regimentation isn't too bad for a short period of time.
Did your service impact your feelings about the war and the military in general?
No, except that the way that people treat veterans today annoys me to a great deal.
What message would you like to leave for future generations who will hear this interview?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that one.
Is there anything you feel like we haven't discussed that should be added?
No.
Alright. Now I have some questions that are like more specific to the war. Do you remember when MacArthur was fired?
What, please?
Do you remember when MacArthur was fired?
What was that?
MacArthur, Douglas, when he
Oh,
was.
do I remember? Yes.
What would you remember your opinion on the matter? Like if you thought he should have been, or
I had no opinion at the time. I just was aware of it.
what do you believe you were fighting for?
We were fighting for the freedom of other people. They said it was to keep this country free, but I sort of doubt that now. We were fighting for the Koreans, really.
Do you believe the U.S. was right to be in Korea?
No, I'm an isolationist.
Was the war what you expected?
I don't think anybody can really expect it until you've got to live it.
How was the climate while you were there? Did it like take adjusting to it?
The climate, I wouldn't know what to answer that.
Yeah.
Do you mean physically or?
Like just like the weather.
Oh no, the weather I don't know.
Okay. Has your opinion of the military changed since then?
Oh, evidently, yes, it has greatly. It's more modernized. They have more facilities. They have more protection.
What is your opinion on the current situation in Korea?
This is the wrong person to ask. As I say, I'm an isolationist, and I also don't believe in the United States should have to put up with anything.
Do you believe the war was worth the cost of it?
No.
Not at all. Would you do it again if you had the choice and were back in?
I would do it if the United States was in danger. That's all.
Would you encourage others to join the military?
Excuse me?
Would you encourage others to join the military?
No, I wouldn't encourage anybody. I think it has to be a certain personality that could really live it and enjoy it, but I wouldn't encourage it.
And you mentioned earlier that like Ted Williams was there. Like, did you meet him or did
No, he was just happened to be at the airport. As a fighter pilot out of Kempo Airport. Same time I was there.
All right.